Good morning, welcome to today's video. As you all know, the winter season is upon us and I've recently been getting a lot of questions about my winter training setup. So this is it. Today I want to take a look at the setup that I have here for all my winter training. So my home trainer, the software that I use and what type of training I do. And then next week I want to look at the specific training plan that I made for myself for this winter and even a little bit for next year as well. Because I also think that that might be interesting if you want to create a training plan for your own. So my home trainer is a Tacx Neo. It's Tacx's fanciest smart trainer. And the smart part means that you can hook it up to your computer and the software that you use can automatically change the resistance based on, for example, the gradient or the type of training plan that you want to do. I bought this specific version because I like the fact that Tacx is a Dutch company. Also, I think this is one of the most quiet trainers that's out there, which is nice because, of course, I live with Leon. I don't want her to get angry with me every time I get on the trainer. I don't want to piss off the neighbors as well. And even for yourself, it's nicer if the machine isn't that loud, so you can listen to some music or something. Other than that, super nice features of this trainer is that it's capable of running in erg mode, which I will explain a little bit more when I get into the workouts. But basically it means that whichever gear you're in, whichever cadence you're riding, the computer can change the resistance of the machine so that you put out a certain power. Especially for interval training, that's super nice. The other thing you're going to need is a bike. It doesn't really matter which bike you have on it, especially with this trainer. And because I don't need to do a lot of gear changing in the workouts that I want to do, I just have my old Canyon on it. It's 10 speed, like Leon's bike is also 10 speed, so we can change it and she can use the trainer as well, which is super nice. And taking your bike off or putting it back on is super easy. Ta-da! So these two things are absolutely critical to have, but then there's a few other things that I think make training on a home trainer so much better that you can call them essentials. The first of those things is a fan. I have mine set up right over there. If you're gonna do training in a small room like this, it gets hot really easily. And if you don't have a window open and some wind blowing in your direction, you're going to be sweating like an otter. And I think it also cannot be good for the amount of power you can produce. So also it's bad for your training, I guess. The second essential thing in my mind is a heart rate monitor. I just have a simple one from Polar. But pretty much anything will do. I think Wahoo also has a nice one. I believe that whichever software you use, it will always show your heart rate. And even during normal training outside, I would recommend everyone to get a heart rate monitor because you can learn a lot about how strong you are, how to pace yourself. And the same thing goes with this training. You can get a lot more data about your training in Strava or Training Peaks or whatever if you wear a heart rate monitor. So it will help you to get a better cyclist. So the third essential thing that I think makes indoor training a lot more fun and helps you motivate yourself is the type of software you use. There are plenty of different types of softwares, but my favorite by far is Zwift. Zwift is a bit like a computer game. I used to be addicted to computer games. Now I think the same thing is happening with Zwift. It's a virtual world in which you can do workouts that are pre-programmed, in which you can ride with other people, in which you can race these other people even. And for me last year, this was a huge part of motivating myself to actually get on the bike every day. Then the two last things that I think are not essential but make training a lot nicer or more beneficial. First one is music. I have a Sonos speaker here that I hook up to my phone so I can play whichever music I want, however loud I want it during training. And the third one, which I'm actually just starting to try out, is this mirror over here. And the idea is that I want to improve my position on the bike over the course of this winter as well, because I believe I can be a lot more aerodynamic And I hope that by looking at myself while doing my intervals, I can remind myself to flatten my back, to sit straight, to sit back, and hopefully that way not only improve my strength, but also how my position on the bike is. I have no idea if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a shot and we'll see what the results are. Right, so I've started the software. I can now select the workout that I want to do and hit start. So in Zwift you have a couple of worlds that you can ride in. They're all scheduled for certain days, so today everyone is riding in Watopia. It's an imaginary world. Also have a few other courses, including this year's World Championship course at Innsbruck. As you can see here on my screen, you can see on the right all the other people that are currently riding. You can see on the top right the map. In the middle you can see the power that I have to produce, 138, and the power that I'm actually doing right now, which is controlled by the erg mode. I've selected a certain gear. I always use the small chainring in the front because I feel that it's less noisy than the big one. And then I just try to get my chain in a straight line. And whichever cadence I use now, I'm at 80 right now, and then the resistance is adjusted so that I produce the wattage that the workout prescribes me to do. If I speed up, you can see that for a little bit the wattage goes up and then it goes down again, because the resistance is adjusted to the cadence that I have. So what that means is that whichever cadence feels most comfortable to you, you don't have to change your gears. So as you can see, today's workout is going to take 2 hours and 15 minutes. Now I'm not going to bore you with that. I think you got a pretty clear view of the way I have my pain cave set up. Next week I'm going to tell you about all the training plans that I have set up for myself. Now if you have any questions or comments about my setup, tips how I can improve, how I can use my mirror to change my aero position or whatever, drop a comment below the video. And otherwise I will see you in the next video on Sunday. Bye bye! I just unlocked a super special bike that you get when you have climbed 50,000 meters in Zwift. It's a super fast bike, because also in the game it matters which bike you ride. That's fucking awesome. Yes!